But I'm quite proud of us for holding off on the Majora's Mask discussion that we were deep into until we got back into Majora's Mask playthrough, so we can
true.
save it for people who wanted to skip all that.
Right.
So what I want to go back to is the point I was going to make was I think that the opinion of this game is that it's just really, really good. Like, I don't see a lot of people
hating on it.
Yeah, like, even I think well, I don't think I know that a lot of the hate for this game was people projecting, defending Ocarina of Time, which is so silly. The correct take is that they're both really good. Believe it or not, that's an option.
I think people like to take circumstance and try to make it something to complain about. And I guess what I mean by that is this is one of the first games in our memory of growing up where it was like I don't want to say they rushed it, but the time frame for this game was a lot smaller than the time frame that Nintendo took on most games. And they kind of, they didn't copy and paste anything story-wise or gameplay mechanic-wise. They just copied some character models. They copied, they had the world already built, and they just expanded upon that. And I think people at the time might have thought that that was lazy and tried to be mad because, they just copy and pasted the world and called it Termina instead of Hyrule, when that's clearly not what happened. So I think that's, if anybody tries to come at this game about that, which I've seen very little of, but still I've seen it, I think people are just trying to get mad at a circumstance and try to say that Nintendo's lazy because it's something to get mad about.
I have a weird thing with this game where it's like, I don't know if it was supposed to be an expansion for Ocarina of Time, but it definitely was going to use the disk drive. That's why you need the expansion pack to save. Otherwise, it's unplayable. I think it's one of only 3 games that requires it.
Yeah.
Donkey Kong 64 is another one, and I want to say Paper Mario is the other. But
I don't know.
My take has always been, and I can't really explain it, but I think that Ocarina is the better game, just slightly, but this is the better Zelda game. Which makes absolutely no sense.
You've said that before, and I still get confused by it, but I kind of get where you're coming from. Would you say that this has the better world? Which one would you think has the better world?
I think this one has the world I care about more.
Sure, that makes sense.
Like, particularly the Great Bay area.
Mm-hmm. Oh, wonderful.
Water sections, and like a lot of people hate them. Water sections in Zelda games have always hit very close to my soul.
Okay, we're running a little slow. We're running a bit slow here. This is not, don't adjust your TV screens. This is just
that's
this
port
the
GameCube
for you.
version of the GameCube version of this game runs like this legitimately. I don't know why it's so bad.
It's just Clocktown, if I remember right?
Yeah, it picks up pretty much anywhere outside of that.
It's just too much
that little
here, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know why.
That's all right. We'll deal with it. If I'm playing like this, then it's like we're all gonna deal with it. It's
so funny to me that this game is one of the famously most easy games to emulate, but the first time they ported it officially, it sucks.
Yeah.
Even the Virtual Console version is so much better. It's so weird.
That was, to be honest, that was the first version I played. The Virtual Console for the Wii.
I remember the first time I ever saw this game. It was. I've told this stories about this guy before. You did not get the ferry.
I did not. You're right. You would be correct in saying that.
Yeah, it's at the laundry pool. I remember seeing my my babysitter's son, who was my main addition to video games. You don't have the magic yet, silly.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying to do things all out of order. For some reason, I thought the
Yeah.
fairy was in there. I'm going.
Yeah,
I know. I
laundry
remember
pool
where she is.
first. And so he was playing it, and it barely even registered that it was Zelda, because I didn't even really know what Zelda was. I knew him as I knew that Link was the green guy from Smash Bros.
Right.
With the chain item that I really liked. That I had pretty much broken the first time I had played it. But I saw him turn into a Goron, and I just remember this place does not exist in the game. But, alright, bear with me, because this is what it looks like in my memory. Imagine, you know in Wind Waker, where you get the Wind Waker from the King of Red Lions?
Mm-hmm.
How he just, when he spits it at you?
Yeah.
So I'm picturing something that's kind of like that, except it's not Dragon Roost Island. And I'm picturing Epona and Goron Link. And this white background, like a beta screen.
Okay.
Not in the game at all.
Right.
But
you remember that being like a memory
that's
of
what I
yours?
remember. Yeah,
okay.
I remember. And that's the only reason I was ever able to identify this game ever. Because, like, it was before I even knew what games were, and I was like, well, I remember Chris was playing this game where you put on a mask. I remember that. Is there anything, like, is there a famous mask game? And then it's like The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask. Okay, that was it. Cool. And then, lo and behold, it brought me here.
Right.
My history with video games is really, really, really interesting, because, like, when I grew up, I did not follow game releases and stuff like that, and, like, game developers.
Right.
I mostly just wanted to play what, like, corporate gaming people thought all gamers wanted to play. So, like, Spider-Man and Spider-Man 2 were huge ones for me.
Mm-hmm.
Like Dragon Ball Z Budokai was a big,
those are
big one.
Budokai games are the
SpongeBob
best.
game, Battle for Bikini Bottom. Some of those games, good games, but, like, Spider-Man probably doesn't hold up all that well. Spider-Man 2 is good.
Spider-Man 2 people still really enjoy, I think. I never played
Spider-Man
much
2
of
is
it.
good. Yeah, but, like, it's not what gamers are looking for.
Right.
They're not looking for movie games.
Yeah.
And, like, so that was kind of, like, my gaming experience for a really long time. That and Pokemon, but we never had this. It just felt like once I got Pokemon Ruby, things kind of changed. And, like, I was just getting different games for different reasons. I honestly don't even remember when I really started following video games for video games instead of just, like...
Yeah, you know what? I have a really scattered memory of a lot of things. I just remember playing a lot of Pokemon Red, a lot of Pokemon Coliseum. I did not get into Zelda until Wind Waker came out. I got Wind Waker when it came out, and then I went back and played this in Ocarina.
It was funny, for a long time, I didn't even know... seriously, I would say until, like, late 2013. No, that's not possible. Early 2013. Shortly before they announced the remake. I don't even know that Wind Waker was a Zelda game, because nobody ever calls it The Legend of Zelda Wind Waker. So if you're someone that's not super familiar with the franchise, because at that point I had never beaten a Zelda game, people were just calling it Wind Waker. I was like, okay, I don't know what this is. And then they announced the remake, and I was like, oh, it's a Zelda game.
Everybody bear with me. The frames are so bad. Okay. Yeah, no, I get where you're coming from for sure.
Wind Waker, still not one of my favorites, but I don't hate it.
You already know I love me some Wind Waker. I don't even gotta say anything.
No, I do like it, do like it, but
I just
do
love
not
the
like
world
it.
so much. People always talk about the Triforce Quest, and I never had a problem with it, which is like weird because when I first played it, I was a child, so you would have thought that I would have had a problem with it. But like, I was so, I guess, enthralled. I don't think it's that I didn't find the Triforce Quest difficult. I think it's that the difficulty of it was something that was so exciting to me because I was already such a big fan of the fact that it was a Zelda game and a pirate game. You know what I mean? I was so fucking like happy that it was a thing about the ocean. So it was like, all right, I'm a little fucking kid, right? So this Triforce Quest is crazy as fuck. So I got to write down all these locations and write down, all right, where do I think these Triforce pieces are? What do I think this is? And I had like a notebook, and I would have to write in the notebook all these different places I thought this shit was, and yada yada yada. And you would think like, wait, did I already catch this one? I don't remember if I.
They won't run from you if you've already caught them.
Okay. So I think it's not that I didn't think the Triforce Quest is difficult. I think it's that I had so much fun with the difficulty of it because it was like I had to pull out a fucking map and have an adventure about it. I'm sure like if I played it for the first time now with my different opinions of video games, I probably would have been like, all right, what the fuck is this?
It's not so much the Triforce Quest that pissed me off, is that some of the most heat, like seething rage I've ever felt towards a video game ever was the Puppet Ganon.
That's a hard
stage.
fight, dude.
It's redonkulous.
That is a hard fight.
It's essentially like you get like a meter to turn around, avoid an oncoming train, and then hit it in the ass without running out of health. It's so dumb, and I hate it. But no, I did beat Wind Waker. I just find like the lack of.
That's fair, Andrew.
Hi,
be honest.
Andrew.
Woo. Did I get him? I guess
Thank
I did.
you. I appreciate that. It's good to be back, but like I find that one of the things I like about Ocarina and Twilight Princess, and to a lesser extent this one, because it's not quite as straightforward. No.
Good code, guys. The pig Latin of codes, if you will.
It's like that episode of The Simpsons where Homer joins the Stonecutters, and then he's like, "Oh, don't bother calling 911 anymore. Here's the real number, 912." Wow.
Cool.
What was I just gonna say? Oh yeah, like one of the things I like is that you can go off the beaten path and easily find heart pieces and stuff. And I find that it's so annoying to go off the beaten path in Wind Waker because you will never get back onto it. B, not really worth it to go get the heart pieces, and C, not that fun to go off the beaten path in Wind Waker because everything has its own, like, yeah, there's a ton of islands, but I find that they just have their own like requirements and bullcrap that I don't really care about. There's no fall into a cave and find a heart piece. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I totally get where you're coming from.
He got to turn around, boy.
I know. I was hoping he wouldn't hit me when he came down. Night of the first day. Yeah, I don't know. We'll do a Wind Waker playthrough at some point, I'm sure.
Wind Waker's relaxing, but like, and I'm someone that loves to get a crap ton of hearts. Like I rely heavily on hearts, but I don't even know if I filled 2 bars or filled the first bar in Wind Waker because it's just not worth it.
I gotta say, as much as I loved relaxing, they're their own things too. Because with Wind Waker, I was like really little, and I remember Paper Mario 2 and Wind Waker were the two where it's like, it's midday, the sun's shining through the window, it's like summer break or some shit like that, and I'm just playing a fuck ton of video games. With this game, it was a little bit later in my life, and I remember getting up for school, and I think it was in the beginning of high school. I remember waking up like too early, and then being like, I'm gonna get in a little bit of Majora's Mask time before I go to school. So it would be like 5 a.m. and I would be playing. Like, imagine 5 a.m. and like the sun's about to start rising, and you're playing Majora's Mask. The fucking best. The best feeling.
Yeah, this is a good 5 a.m. game.
Oh, it's wonderful. And like you said, you can pick up and play this game wherever, and it's fun. But like,
hi, John.
Sun going down and sun going up, the best. What's up, John?
Also, yes, Andrew, I would also love if those games got ported to the Switch. I feel like they will eventually.
Me too.
And Brian, I totally agree. I wouldn't with that everything is too bright in the HD remake. Yeah, it looks amazing, but too bright. That's why I prefer the original, because like the dullness of the colors actually I find more appealing.
I get that. That makes sense. I love the fucking sailing though in the remake. Oh
yeah, they make the sailing so much better.
So much better. So much better.
The original is better because they didn't ruin it.
Simple.
John, we're talking about Wind Waker, not Majora's Mask. Unless you have takes about Majora's Mask or Wind Waker HD.
What is the general take about this game remastered?
I like it. I have to replay it because they really changed the fourth boss.
I think
it's very, very different.
I think, for my take of it, is that what they should have done, in my opinion, is kept the Bomber's Notebook thing and upgraded the graphics, and that's it. And I think that would have been fine. I don't think they should have really tweaked anything else. I think they changed a little bit much. But it's still good. I still enjoy it. They didn't ruin anything.
Mm-hmm.
But
I have to beat it again. The save system in the remake is much better.
Oh, for sure.
But,
without a doubt.
The boss fights, they changed drastically.
Forgot about the save system. The boss fights, yeah. I didn't like. Did they make them too easy? Was that it?
Well, they all have the gigantic eyeballs that pop out of them.
Yeah.
Whereas in this one, the twin mold fight, the fourth one, it's one of them where you have to. This one, I think, where you just still use your sword and still have to wail on them, or you have to grab them.
Right. That is.
Yeah, they take the sword in the new one, in the remake, and then you just have to punch, and you get a very poor idea of where you reside relative to everything.